and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. With every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a finance plan for you and your family, I deal with you first. I don't work with the team comes in and they'll help out after the fact. But when it comes to helping you and your family with that financing opportunities, that would be you and I just chatting together. So if you have any needs today, or even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let us see what we are celebrating today. Hey, how's this one? Gorgeous Grandma Day. I'm not ready to be a grandma yet. I don't think I'm going to ever be a grandma, so I don't think I'm going to be contemplating Gorgeous Grandma Day. So we might have to just stick with National Ice Cream Day. Gorgeous Grandma Day. How about that? We've got a little echo going on here. How about National Ice Cream Day? I think we'll stick with the ice cream for today. That's a good option. Hey, let's check out what the markets. That's enough, guys. Okay. Let's check out the markets today. Dow Jones Industrial Average. It is up 36 points today as I speak to you. Been a bit of a seesaw of a day. We're heading on the southbound side right now. S&P 500 up 443. We are looking oil. This one's just a fascinating story because oil's down 2 cents a barrel. If we had been 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and we saw what is happening in the Middle East right now with Iran taking tankers, boy, could you imagine what oil would have been like then, what would have been happening at that point? Right now, though, the national average of a gallon of gasoline, 275.8. About 95 cents a gallon higher in Calizuela, and it is 366 in Hawaii. I am looking over here. Mississippi is the cheapest, 386, 238.6. Easy for me to say this morning, 238.6. Let's also look at the rate market. The bonds just up, the 10-year Treasury up a couple of ticks. Germany, negative 0.351. Then we're looking at Japan, minus 146. The interesting one here is the UK at 0.69. The reason I show that as being, or I say that as a fascinating number, is because we have been watching, and notice Boris Johnson was elected to be the new prime minister in Europe, or in the United Kingdom, and Mr. Johnson is one of those that is definitely not on the page of all of this waiting for a Brexit. They'll be gone. So he says, with or without the European Union, they are out. That was his platform, and apparently the people in the UK are all for that. Hey, good morning, Mercedes. Glad to see you with us. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. So people in the UK are saying, hey, we're out. It does not matter what the EU says. We want to run our own country. Not going to be listening to everything they have to say, everything they want, not letting the people in Brussels determine what the future is of the people in Great Britain. Glad to see that happening. I am sure that Mr. Johnson will be, or now I guess you call him Prime Minister Johnson, he will be a big improvement for the country. Get something done. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, it's their choice. He is their version of the disruptor. So that's kind of what we're looking at over on that side of the pond. What else is going on in the news today? We're in earnings season, full force. So we are watching earnings on all of the markets right now. We're also watching and seeing what's going on. Did you see the Commie Squad? Rashid Tlaib came out again. Every time she speaks, well, it's always more humor for the rest of the world. Now she's looking at $20 an hour minimum wage, and that's what she says she wants, $20 an hour minimum wage. Why don't we go to $30, $40, $50 an hour minimum wage? Right? Wouldn't that make sense if 10 is bad, 15 is better, 20 is better than that? Doesn't it mean carry on? Go to $50 an hour, everybody gets $100,000 a year? Do you think that'll matter at all? Because what that means then is the cost of your Big Mac is going to quadruple. The cost of your Starbucks coffee is going to go way up. It's all relative. So the inflation will be crazy, and you still won't have any difference other than the amount of people that will be out of work. But you know something, since she hasn't signed the front of a check, she only looks at the back. Well, that's probably the issue right there. That's probably why some of these, the members of that Commie Squad, right there, all for giving everything to everybody. Hence, but wait a second, we're in California, so we're into that kind of thing, and that's why we call this Calizuela. We are heading in the same direction as Venezuela, so we'll just call it Calizuela for now. Moving right along in the daily briefing, how about President Trump says he's going to watch very little of the Mueller hearing, insists the Dems are wasting their time. Does that surprise anybody?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So let's spend some more time doing nothing, as they've been very, very good at doing so far. We spent, $40 million on the Mueller report, being that so many people cannot read, they cannot go to the internet to get the report themselves. It appears now what we're going to see is going to be able to have this hearing so that people can get it read to them. The White House has told Mr. Mueller that being that this is a Department of Justice report, there is confidential information in there, that his testimony needs to stick to what is already in the report. So we're going to have a big nothing burger tomorrow. That's probably what we'll see in the Mueller hearings. Just throwing that out there for you. But we'll see some of the stations. We'll be covering it end to end, and we'll hear some fascinating commentary. But that's what the Democrats say they want to spend their time doing. That is the most important thing. We don't want to deal with the immigration problems. We don't want to deal with homelessness. We don't want to deal with infrastructure. Let's continue this because, hey, on Friday they have to leave for a 6-week vacation.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? A 6-week vacation. Now, where did this 6-week vacation come from that the legislature takes off all of August? Where did that start? Well, if you do a little bit of history work, it comes back to the earlier days of our country. And Congress left Washington, D.C. They went back to their districts because of the blistering heat and humidity in Washington, D.C. in August. Do you think any of these Congress people stay out in the heat and humidity during the month, during any time? Do they ever deal with any of that? Right? We've got air conditioners now. We don't have to worry about those issues. But hey, in Congress, they need a break. They've got to go away they work 3 days a week. I mean, that's very challenging for most of those folks. 3 day a week work week. And then take 6 weeks off in the summer. How many other weeks are they taking off during the year? But that's what we pay them for. Unbelievable. I don't know if you've seen any of the news commentary on the president's authorization for ICE to go and arrest some of these folks that are here illegally. They've had their day in court. Have you seen the background on some of these folks that they are rounding up? There are some suspected murderers, some suspected rapists, drug dealers, in addition to having already had their day in court for being here illegally and denied asylum. Just saying. And moving right along in the daily briefing, President Trump and the Dems reached a budget deal yesterday. You know, you almost can expect that most people are going to look at this as being a good deal. Why would I say that it's a good deal? I haven't seen the deal, but here's the issue. The extreme right is against it. They say that there's too much overspending. The progressives are unhappy with where the money is going. So if you've got the two extremes both upset, likelihood is it's probably the best deal that could have been accomplished because of the way we are in Washington. Just throw that out there. Think about that. Unintended consequences, more than 100 violent criminals released under the First Step Act. I know the president signed this into law with much fanfare. 2,243 inmates released under the First Step Act. Only 960 were incarcerated for drug-related offenses. On the other hand, 496 were in prison for weapons and explosives-related crimes, 239 sex offenses, 178 for fraud, bribery, and extortion, 118 for burglary and larceny, 106 for robbery, according to the data. Another 59 were imprisoned over homicide, aggravated assault, 46 for immigration-related offenses, 9 for counterfeiting and embezzlement, and 2 for national security reasons. So that is the group of people that are being released initially. And you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate. My mind just went blank. Holy cow. We're discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets when we come back. How to get the most money from the sale of your home, get the most money and the quickest, first time, every time. What experts are saying about the current housing market. How owing money can impact your credit scores. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, first mortgage, bigger home, smaller home, Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. Let's take a look at what is happening in the markets as we speak right now. We do that every day for you. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 48.5 points. The NASDAQ is up 0.80. S&P 500 up 4.22. 10-year Treasury up just ever so slightly. The mortgage-backed securities, they are flat. But what are we looking at? Why are all these things happening? What is it that we need to know about today's markets? Well, there's a lot of data has come out today. And unfortunately, there's a lot of industries or a lot of media that's giving you some bad data. So the stocks are higher today, fueled by some stronger earnings reports. Mortgage bonds are trading, as I told you, unchanged after testing that important Fibonacci support level. Amazon, as of today, has entered into the real estate space. They have partnered with Realogy, a company that owns brands such as Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Sotheby's International, Corcoran, ERA, Better Homes and Gardens, and Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Amazon, now in the real estate world, through Amazon and Realogy's new partnership, they'll offer Turnkey, which is a program that takes potential home buyers through the Amazon portal and connects them with a Realogy agent. Once they purchase a home, they then get complimentary Amazon home services and products up to $5,000. This includes services like painting or hanging a TV, as well as smart home products like Ring and Doorbell. It seems the only piece missing here is the mortgage piece. They will be getting into that too very soon, I would assume. That's just my personal opinion of that. So Amazon, you can actually now buy your house through Amazon. Fascinating. FHFA housing, you have the Federal Housing Finance Agency released their house price index, which measures home price appreciation on single-family homes with the conforming loan amounts. The report showed that home prices rose 0.1% in May, 5% year over year. Slight decline from the previous report, was revised higher from 5.2 to 5.3. With that being said, 5% appreciation is very strong and meaningful for wealth creation. Now, we have talked about this many, many times in the past. I'm a big fan of the FHFA report. The reason I like the FHFA report is it only measures conforming loans. It does not deal with jumbo loans. So being that we've taken the revised higher, since we've taken the jumbo loans out of the picture, it doesn't skew the numbers quite as much. So that's kind of where I like that. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. You did not hear these good news information on CNBC. Diana Olick, she's been wrong about 88 months in a row, I think she's at now. Pretty close to that. Existing home sales report for June, which measures closings in June and likely represents buyers shopping For homes in April and May decreased 1.7%. That's the headline number. That's what all they're reporting on the media sources like CNBC. But here's the issue. They revised the previous report up. So when taking that revision into account, sales are down 1.3%. Don't forget that previous report was a strong report, up nearly 3%. So they are increasing these numbers. Numbers are pretty strong still for real estate, unless you are listening to CNBC and then they get it wrong, so you don't have to worry about that. Existing home sales, the numbers that have come out, this is from the National Association of Realtors and their chief economist, Lauren Yoon. Purchasing power to buy a home has been bolstered by falling mortgage rates, and buyers are responding. Solid demand, along with inadequate inventory of affordable homes, have pushed the median home price to a record high. That is according to Lawrence Yoon from the National Association of Realtors. The median home price, national number reported at $285,700, up 4.3% year over year. Total inventory at the end of June was unchanged from a year ago at the current pace of sales. There is a 4.4 per month supply, up from 4.3 in May. First-time home buyers, they represented 35% of sales, which is a big jump from 32%. That's a 10% increase. Cash transactions accounted for 16%, down from 19%, and investors made up 10%, down from 13%. Why is that? Well, the investors understand the idea that money is cheap. Why wouldn't you want to borrow money and invest it instead of paying cash for a home? Mortgage bonds trading just above support at 102.274 Fibonacci level after testing it earlier this morning. An important floor. If bonds can bounce off this level, there is a significant room to the upside. But if it is broken, there is nearby support at the 25-day moving average. If we were to break below the 25-day moving average, we'd probably have to change to more conservative approach. A lot of information there. I hope that it's all making sense to you. That is the Mortgage Minute, again brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. So I shared this morning on our headline for today's broadcast that we wanted to talk about how to sell your home, get the highest price in the shortest period of time. And yes, I understand that I have a real estate license. I do not sell real estate. But you know something? I talked to a lot of folks who have sold a lot of real estate over their careers. I have a friend of mine who had at one time over 500 real estate agents working for him. And he shares this same scenario all the time as to how to get the most amount of money from the sale of a house. He does this quite frequently. And we put this out on a blog post just so we can get the information out to people, but it doesn't really tell you all of the how-to. It tells you what to do, but it doesn't tell you how to do it, because there are some underlying principles that need to be identified and some methodologies that you really need to be watching out for to figure out how do you make this work, how do you get this to operational. And I'm going to share that with you today because I've got two different people that we're chatting with recently. I spoke to both over the weekend. One is through their real estate agent, one is with the consumer directly. And they're both looking at homes that are right between $800,000 and $1 million here in Orange County, California. Both of them are wondering, why hasn't my home sold? And I shared with them and with the party on one property and the agent on the other. It all has to do with the marketing and the approach. And you can look at our Facebook, our social media channels. But our friend Steve Harney is the one that shared this with me early on. And some of the data actually comes from an organization that's done some research called Move Sales Incorporated. It was a survey that was commissioned by the National Association of Realtors. They didn't do the survey. They just commissioned it. They paid for it. And the question comes up is every homeowner wants to make sure they maximize the sales price of their home, but how do you guarantee that you receive the maximum value for your house? So here's what the issues are, is you have to understand where your market is. What is the competition for your property? And when I say competition for your property, I'm saying is there anything in your neighborhood that's for sale? What is that? What are the characteristics of that property? How does the kitchen look? How does the bathroom? Carpets, pool, no pool, view, no view, busy street, not a busy street. All of these different issues, surrounding noise, schools. Are you close to the beach, not close to the beach, in the mountains, desert, pool, golf course? All these areas. I had one property recently that we were talking to somebody about. And on one side of the street, they were on a golf course, so they had big, luscious, green view in the back. The other side had a block wall. Well, those properties are not really competitive, so you have to find out how do you price those or adjust for pricing. And sometimes this goes with spending a little bit of extra money before you sell the property. You have to talk to a real estate agent. Now, the scenario that I'm telling you right now is not going to be found on Realogy. Right? So when you go to Amazon, they're not going to tell you how to execute this strategy because they're online. Basically, they're looking at some sort of an automated valuation tool that's going to say, okay, your property is worth X, but it doesn't know that the house that you're competing with has a pool or has a golf course view, city light view. Doesn't understand that stuff. You can't put that in the model. The other thing that we want to know is what do we think that property is going to sell for? What is the competition? What is the most likely sales price? So let's just use for an example here, because it's a round number and we are in Orange County, California. We're going to use it. We have a sales price of $1 million. That's what we think the property is worth. What do we list it at? What do we expect to get for it? And what do we need to get all of that accomplished? And we are going to talk about that. That's our subject for today. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're going to get into this, how to get the most money from your home sale, and we're going to do it in the shortest period of time. What experts are saying about the current housing market, how owing money can impact your credit score, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available at Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about out all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio.
Ron Siegel.
Text.
Now, here's Ron.
Interesting. We got the some interesting stuff going on our soundboard today, or on our recording, so we apologize for that. What experts are saying about the current 306-1990. What experts are saying about the current housing market, that is the subject today of the real-time real estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. We're halfway through the year, and with a decline in interest rates as well as home price and wage appreciation, many are wondering what the experts predict for the second half of 2019. Here's what some have to say. Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com, quote, lower mortgage rates, higher wages, and more homes for sale have helped counteract rising home prices and ultimately made it so that buyers are able to afford more than last year. Our outlook implies 4% growth for the remaining months of the year, predicted on more supply than last year, the decline in mortgage rates, moderating home price appreciation, and improving affordability. Lawrence Yoon, chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, rates of 4% and in some cases even lower create extremely attractive conditions for consumers. Buyers, for good reason, are anxious to purchase and lock in at these rates. Doug Duncan, chief economist for Fannie Mae, moderating home price appreciation and attractive mortgage rates continue to support affordability, particularly as home builders are now paying more attention to the entry-level portion of the housing market. Casey Miller, in a Realtor Magazine article, Realtor Magazine is the name of the periodical. At the moment, some observers suggest the housing market is indeed headed for a slowdown, but no need to panic. Experts say the financial and economic factors that were in play during the big crash a decade ago do not exist today. The bottom line, the housing market will be stronger for the rest of 2019. If you'd like to know more about your specific market, let's get together to chat about what's happening in your area. That is the real-time real estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Before the break, we started chatting a bit about how to get the most money from your home. And we're talking about we're looking at a property that we believe has got $1 million market valuation. That's what the real estate agents, after looking at all of the competition in the market for this property, they feel the property is worth $1 million. Now, if your house is worth 800, 700, 500, $1.2 million, $1.5 million, doesn't matter. The numbers will all still be the same. Just apply the proper percentages to your household, and you're going to get the right information by just making those same application of the numbers. Because it is, again, it's all done based on surveys that the National Association of Realtors commissioned to a company called Move Sales, Inc. Now, we need to understand the list price we're looking at here is going to be $1 million. That's going to be not the list price. That's going to be the price that the value that we perceive the property to have. We think it's worth $1 million. The agent thinks that they're going to get $1 million for it. What's the value of the property really? Well, the value of the property is going to be what a willing buyer will pay a willing seller. And the other item is you have to understand that you've got to have your agent has to control the entire transaction. They have to be knowing where you're willing to sell the property. Right, because if you go and you get an offer on a $1 million property for $950,000, and the selling agent, the one that writes the offer for the buyer, if they come in and they have a pre-approval for $950,000, where the buyer can afford $950,000, but you really want $1 million, and you get 2 offers or 3 offers that come in below what you really want for the property. Well, what if nobody can afford what you really want? How do we deal with that? Well, your real estate agent must mandate that their lender cross-qualifies all buyers completely so they know exactly what the buyer can afford to do. Because you don't want to get into a negotiation with somebody at $950,000 that can only afford a $900,000 home. And if you think your property is worth more than that, you don't want to be dealing with somebody that can only afford $950,000 if you have a counteroffer at $975,000. Right? So you have to have that qualifying. Now, here's the strategy on how to get the most money for your property. First off, you're going to list your property, and you're not going to you're going to get together with your real estate agent that understands how to do this. Not every real estate understands how to do this. Not every real estate agent is strong enough to do this. Not every real estate agent wants to do it, but you have to have the strength as the homeowner to believe in the process. Believe in the process, because a lot of it is counterintuitive. A lot of folks are going to say, well, I've got a property, I don't want less than $1 million for it. I'm going to list it $1.1 million, and we'll negotiate down to $1 million. Okay, well, that's well and good, but what if the market doesn't agree with you and nobody shows up? Well, now you got to bring it down to $1,050,000, and then $1,040,000, and then $1,020,000, and then $1 million. And now what does the home buying public think? What's wrong with that house? Why do they keep lowering the price? Why isn't anybody buying it? Is there a structural problem? Is there significant repairs that need to be done? Did somebody die in the house? Was there a murder there? Does it have asbestos, or does it have mold? All of these things are thoughts that are going through the consumer base eye when they hear that when they see that a property price keeps getting reduced. Then on top of that, if you think that the property is worth $1.1 million or $1 million, and you list it at $1.1 million or $1.15 million, well, do you think everybody that also sees it as being $1 million property is going to see it? No. When you list $1 million property at $1,150,000, you're going to only attract about 10% of the purchasing community. 10% of the potential buyers will look at that property. What happens if you price it at that $1 million property at $1.1 million? Well, now you're going to get 10%, or you're going to get 30% of the population. Better than that 10%, you're going to get 30% of the population will see it. But is that really what you want to be attracting, is only 30% of the community? If you list it at its full price, or at its market value of $1 million, you're still not going to show it to everybody. Only 60% of the home buying population will see it. Only 60%. Now, we're talking here about supply and demand. We want to create as much demand as possible. The more demand we have for anything, prices go up. Right? If you go out, have you ever seen what happens when gasoline, we're at $3.75 a gallon for gasoline on an average in the state of California. What do you think would happen if a gas station put up a sign at $2.99? Well, first off, they probably would lose money until they ran out of gas. They've got about 10,000 gallons in their tanks there if they started with a full set of tanks. So they might lose about, $5,000 or $10,000, right? But can you imagine what the lines are going to be like at that gas station until they run out of gas? So the supply of gas is limiting, but the demand is going to go up as the price goes down, and you have a problem there, right, in the gas station. Now, real estate, there's only one house that's got your address. So we cannot increase the supply, but we can affect the demand. We can affect how many people are seeing it. You saw it right there. I just shared with you the stats that if you are priced 15% above market, only 10% of the population that could buy your house will see it. If you're priced 10% above market, 30% of the population will see it. So what do we do to get the house sold the quickest and get the most money for it all through supply and demand? We're going to talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We'll also talk about how amounts owed on your FICO score, on your credit cards, affects your FICO score. We'll talk about that, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you, but the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it is wrong. Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. Our friend Jeff Sipes and the Blue Water Credit team are all ready to help you. Again, just go to CreditSanitizer.com. You'll get connected right to them. Amounts owed on accounts determines 30% of a FICO score. Owing money on credit accounts doesn't necessarily mean you're a high-risk borrower with a low credit score. However, when a high percentage of a person's available credit has been used, this can indicate that a person is overextended and is more likely to make late or missed payments. Part of the science of scoring is determining how much is too much for a given credit profile. Your FICO scores take into account several factors, the amount owed on all accounts. Note that even if you pay off your credit cards in full each month, your credit report may show a balance on those cards. The total balance on your last statement is generally the amount that will show in your credit report, the amount owed on different types of accounts. In addition to the overall amount you owe, your FICO scores consider the amount you owe on specific types of accounts such as credit cards and installment loans, credit utilization ratio on revolving accounts. Your credit utilization ratio on revolving accounts, the percentage of your available credit you're using, is an important factor in your FICO scores. Using a high percentage of your available credit means you're close to maxing out your credit cards, which can have a negative impact on your FICO scores. On the other hand, using a low percentage of your available credit can have a positive impact. In some cases, a low credit utilization ratio will have a more positive impact on your FICO scores than not using any of your available credit at all. It's also important to note that your credit account balance isn't necessarily the balance that shows up on your credit report and factors into your FICO scores. Your account balance on your credit report will reflect the account balance your lender reported to the credit bureau, typically the balance from your last monthly statement. So even if you pay your credit card balances in full each month, your account balance won't necessarily show on your credit report as zero. How many accounts have balances? A larger number of accounts with amounts owed can indicate higher risk of overextension. How much of the total credit line is being used in other revolving credit accounts? Someone who is close to maxing out several credit cards has a high credit utilization ratio and may have trouble making payments in the future. How much of the installment loan amount is still owed compared with the original loan amount? For example, if you borrowed $10,000 to buy a car and you have paid back $2,000, you still owe with interest more than 80% of the original loan. Paying down installment loans is a good sign that you're able and willing to manage and repay debt. Your FICO scores can impact your loan interest rates, terms, approvals, and more. That is the Your Credit Matters segment. Again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Jeff Sipes and the team at Blue Water Credit, always looking out for you. So we've been chatting today on how to get the most money from the sale of your home. We talked about, we're using an example of a $1 million home, that a valued home. We were talking about how do we get and if you want all the foundation of what we're talking about, we don't have enough time left in today's broadcast for me to recap the whole thing. But the entire process is on RonSiegelRadio.tv, RonSiegelRadio.1, or Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. And we'll have it in the Ron Siegel Radio archives. The entire show will be posted in the RonSiegelRadio.com archives. It'll probably be up there by morning tomorrow. So we're trying to figure out how do we get our our demand up for our property. We've already talked about what we need to do. We've talked about the percentages of people if we list our house high with the allowing enough room for us to negotiate. We've already talked about what's going to happen with that listing. What's going to happen if the market does not see the property value the same as we do. And we've already talked about we're not going to get many people seeing the property. 15% above market value is going to get us only 10% of the population seeing the property. Now, here's a couple of numbers for you also. If you've listed your property already and you're getting people to come visit but no offers, that's going to tell you you're somewhere between 5 and 10% too high. If nobody's coming to visit and you're getting no offers, that's going to tell you that you're over 10% too high. Again, these are just statistics that I use. I am a numbers guy. That's why I don't get out there and sell real estate, because I am the numbers guy. I don't look at any of the emotional side of what's the property worth, who's going to be getting into the property, any of those things. Those are left for real estate professionals. They understand that. Again, I am just a numbers guy, so I look at the numbers and I look at stats. So what are the numbers here? What do we need to be looking at in order to increase the amount of people coming into the house? We've already determined market value is $1 million. Now, if we drop that price to $900,000, we're doing the same thing that we talked about before, going the other way. 75% of the available population is going to see the property. What if we drop that property to $850,000? Now we've dropped it 15% below what we want for the property, below what we perceive to be the value of the property. Now what happens? Now what do we do? Well, we're listing the property at $850,000. 90% of the population is going to see the property. 90% of the people that are in that population of home buyers at that price area are going to see this property. That's where we want to be. That's the area that we're really looking for, so that we get the most number of people seeing the property. Now, if we get the most number of people
we're listing the
seeing that property, what's going to happen? The likelihood is we're going to get into a bidding war. Now, remember I told you at the very beginning of the broadcast that your agent has to control the entire transaction? They must have a lender that's cross-qualifying all of the potential offers before the offers are submitted. So how does it work? You list the property, or you get the property under contract. Don't let anybody see the property until a specific time period. Now remember, we've listed it at $850,000. People are talking. A lot of people are thinking about this property. They want to see it. They're calling your agent. No, you cannot see the property. We're not going to let anybody in. But we will let you in on Saturday, the first Saturday of July. And we're going to let you come in between 1 and 4 p.m. That's the only time we're going to show the property. Saturday, the first Saturday of July. I think, what's that, the 5th of the month or something, 3rd of the month? We're going to only let people in between 1 and 4. Now, all these people that are seeing this property, this $1 million house that's listed for $850,000, what they're saying is, wow, I wonder how much work needs to be done to get this property back to where I can live in it. I want to go see it. They come and see it all at the same time. Now, everybody sees that everybody else is there. There's a lot of people at the property between 1 and 4 on that Saturday. You've already told in the MLS, we've already told the community they must be cross-qualified. Why did we say that? Because we want the cross-qualification to know which people are acceptable at the $1 million price point. We know that if those people are there, then they're also acceptable at $850. But we want to know who it is that can be qualified, who can afford this property at the higher price. Because what we want is a bidding war. See, we've held the property back so nobody can see it. What do you think? What happens on Black Friday every year? You get these people lined up at Walmart, at Best Buy, at Target, every store. They line up overnight because they know there's going to be some sort of bargain, and they want in on it. They want the bargain, so people are lined up. That's what we want to cause at your house. We want the line to get there so that everybody wants to be there at 1 o'clock to see this $1 million house that's up available for $850,000. And your agent can put certain terminology into the listing so that we know that you're not going to be lowballed, right? The seller reserves the right to reject any and all offers regardless of price. Right? So that's what we want to make sure that your agent understands how to do that. And your agent also needs to make sure that you have got people approved at the higher price, because we're going to have a bidding war. Now you're going to go over all the offers Sunday night with your agent, and your agent is going to then send back a notice of a counter offer that basically says, we have multiple offers. We need you to submit your highest and best offer. Now you're going to get offers that are going to come in at $900, $950, $1 million. May have to do this 2 or 3 times until you find the offer that you want to accept and meet your pricing guidelines. But now we've set it up so you only have to be showing your house one time, that one day at 1 to 3. You don't have to have your house set up as a museum. I don't know anybody that really wants that museum lifestyle. They don't want their house to be up there all the time and have to have it always clean and museum quality. That's not what you're looking for, right? The whole idea is to get your property sold as quick as possible. And now that we've got 90% of the community seeing the property, 90% of the community knows what it is and what's available, you're going to get the most buyers in to see it, which will generate the most offers on the property. Your agent is looking to see who really qualifies for the pricing that you're looking for. And now you get into that bidding process, but you're letting them fight with each other over the price. You don't have to be bidding. They're just doing the bidding for you. They're bidding against one another. And you're just standing there on the sidelines watching the cash register ring, right? You're just watching the numbers continue to go up and up and up and up until you get to the offer that makes the most sense. And that's when you're going to find that you've really maximized the price of the property. Want more information on this? Give me a call, 800-306-1990. I will share with you how to do it. And make sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.